let's see how this works. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can stream this to YouTube so that you guys can just have them from now on. All right, let's see how this works. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I could. Okay, so wait, can y'all hear that? Can y'all hear that?
Yes, we can hear
Yes.
you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I just had a quick malfunction real quick. I think it's working now, so we gonna pray that it is. This is my first time doing this whole YouTube streaming thing. But I know so many of you guys be asking for these recordings, so it's just gonna be so much easier if we just automatically stream it to YouTube, and then from there it'll automatically save. And then you guys don't have to worry about the Sunday night call link anymore. You guys can just hop on YouTube and it will just be playing like it does here. All right, so let's see. We are at 280 people. Can you please put in the chat if you're new, because I'm going to be breaking down a few things, but I kind of want to get a glimpse of who's new and who's not. All right, so we got a few new people. Okay, cool. All right, so then we got to 300 fast. Okay, so we have a lot of new people. Okay, so for my new people, this is what I want to say. Don't be confused, okay? Because trading is a process. Also, the way I look at my charts is a process, and some of you guys may not be used to seeing like a lot of things on the chart. So I will definitely go over what means what so that you guys can follow along, but don't try to get it all in one setting because it's just going to frustrate you. Okay. So really just understand the pieces to the puzzle. When I trade, I read the market. I do not trade strategies. Because with strategies, you can always lose money, but if you understand how to read the market, you will always understand where it's going next. Okay. So I'm about to share my screen. First, I'm going to go over the trade that I talked about last night, which was EU. It was like, y'all know I hit my weekly goal by Tuesday. I did end up hopping in GJ later in the week, but I'm going to go over the entry for that and also the setup. So let me share my screen. All right. So who remembers what we talked about last week for EU?
As it relates to EU, you said that it will have a pullback, but on the major structure, that's the 1 hour, it will go in for a buy.
Yep. Yes, exactly. So last week we were around here, this area here. I'm gonna move the bars pattern out the way for now. So you guys, let me just hide it. Hide. All right, so last week we were here and we drew the trend line at the top. Remember I told you guys we had divergence on minor structure. So what we were looking at was that overall minor structure. I was like, okay, this is gonna sell to this trend line. So that's where we were. And remember I told you guys, wait for the break and retest of this low right here and then carry that down. So that ended up playing out perfectly. And then remember we drew a minor structure fib on there from here to here, which remember I told you guys that negative 27, once it's hit, will be a third trend line bounce for that 1 hour trend line. Okay. Did that just make sense to everybody?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we had 0.1, 0.2 right here, draw that line into the future. All right. And you guys also, if you're new, I don't keep these big ugly lines on my chart. I'm just like doing it to annotate so I could kind of show you guys and walk you guys through this as I'm talking. But we have point A to point B right here. This is the minor structure for the overall trade setup that we had coming. Okay. So we had point A to point B on this minor structure fib. Price pulled back. All right. And we remember we had those two minor points for that minor structure trend line right here. Then I told everybody this was going to sell to this negative 27. So then that's what ended up happening. So we ended up having, let me go to the replay. This ended up selling down. boom, boom, boom. And then it hit our negative 27, literally, I think it was like Monday. It was definitely Monday because that buy ended up playing out by Tuesday. So after we had that TP hit, this was the entry. So remember I told you guys, wait for this to get to your negative 27. That was your entry. If you didn't enter for the low, then your next entry would have been the break and retest of this minor structure trend line. All right, so that was that first entry here. Let me put this here. We'll label this entry 1, entry 1. All right. And then we had, let me slow this down so y'all can really see this. So once we had this minor structure break, I think I put this in the chat too. It was going to consolidate a little bit. So we had that little like minor structure. And then I said, wait for the break and retest for the buy of major structure. So once that broke here, that's our retest. Can you guys mute your microphones? I don't want to mute you guys because if I mute you guys, you won't be able to ask questions. So just mute your microphones, please. Thank you so much. All right, so this was the break and retest of this minor structure. So we have this right here. This is the break. This is the retest. This is your entry 2. This is your confirmed entry. The expert people, this is common sense entry based off of just understanding the flow of the market. For my confirmation people, this was the confirmation. So you guys know when I put in the chat, I'm really like private students, you guys understand, okay, how you flow with the market. But for people that like are new to trading, I always say wait for the break and retest because that's your confirmation. No retest, no entry. Your retest is what's confirming the actual move that's happening. So once we have here, we have this little new high for minor structure. Remember, you have minor structure and you have major structure. Being able to see both of them, not one over the other, not minor structure only, not major structure only, but being able to see both of them is what's going to get you paid in the market on a consistent basis. Okay, so this here again, we have point A to point B, price pull back, hit our 78.6 on our fib level, then hit our TP1, but this was a minor structure fib. So you guys know minor structure fib can easily be broken. The rules are different for minor structure compared to major structure. But once we had this TP hit on top of our trend line bounce, that is our second confluence as to the market is about to push up. All right, so it hit this trend line, rejected it, pushed up, broke, retested this minor structure trend line, which is this blue. I'm actually, y'all know my minor structure be purple, so let me change that, purple or black. Let's change that. All right, so that minor structure right there then went into that buy. Now, if you guys see the buy fib level is here, okay? So that negative 27, which is literally in line with our monthly trend line, which is this yellow trend line up here. Remember last week, that was the overall projective that was the overall projection last Sunday of where the market was going. Everybody remember that? That was on last week's call?
Yes, Jessica.
Yeah, I remember.
So we had point A to point B, price pull back. This literally was negative 27 for last week's overall take profit. Everybody with me?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, yes. So let's play this out. So let me take the annotation off so you guys can see the flow of that. So after you have that entry 2, this ended up playing out. We have here. So let me, hold on. All right, so you have higher highs and higher lows being formed. Let me speed that up. So then this plays out, boom, 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 right? So this was what I put in the chat when I was like, okay, we just got our take profit hit on our actual major structure. Everybody with me? So y'all see the minor structure inside of the major structure, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
All right, so now Again, how did I know that this was about to go in a buy in the first place? And I'm gonna show y'all where it's going next, but we just need to step back a little bit. How did I know that this was going into a buy from the very beginning? Because remember our first entry from 2 weeks ago, y'all remember I was in Zanzibar at the time. It was here for this buy. But do y'all remember the overall flow of the market and where we were in conjunction to the market? Okay. Do y'all remember where we were? And I know I didn't even go over a lot of charts that night, because remember, that's when we were doing like the sponsoring the Tanzanian students. Does anybody remember?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Monthly foundation level.
Yes, Maxine. So let's look at this on, I'm gonna go to a different screen just because I know it's gonna be a lot on that overall. I mean, on my actual trading screen, y'all not gonna be able to see. So I'm gonna show y'all on this screen instead. So y'all already know my negative 61.8s are my reversal levels, okay? So let's take this off here. Let me take this off also. All right, so let's look inside, actually. I'm gonna take this one off. All right, so we have 2 fibs inside of here. All right, so I'm just going with the flow of the market so I can show you kind of how I trade, because I know there are new people here. Again, I look at breaks and retests for everything. So literally this was lower lows and lower highs all throughout here. Negative 61.8, I use fibs for everything. That's how I trade. I'm a primarily fib trader. I will say if you're new to fibs, then, or if you don't trade fibs, then I might not be the person that you want to follow, just because I think that every methodology when it comes to trading works. You just have to perfect it, and hopping from methodology to methodology isn't going to help you. So if you're not like a primarily fib trader or follow fibs and stuff like that, then yeah, like maybe you need another mentor. Okay, but as far as this, okay, we have this 4-hour structure. We're on our 4-hour time frame. We have this 1 hour that broke and retested here, literally hit this negative 61.8. All right. Then we had another uptrend structure that hit our negative 27 TP. I don't know if you guys can see this. And you guys already know based off of pullback levels how far the market is going into the future, so forth and so on. Okay. But that overall 4-hour structure, in which I said, how did we know that the market was about to buy anyway, which we talked about literally, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, was from here. I want y'all to see this overall fib on here. And when I talk about how you have the major structure that you cannot forget about just because you're inside of right now price, you can never omit it. So the overall 4-hour structure is here, here, here. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes.
I see it.
Which
Yes,
hit,
we see it.
which hit this negative 27. Then, of course, we had divergence and a whole bunch of other confluences that lined up to tell us, okay, this was going into a buy. But I just wanted y'all to see that overall fib, because, of course, I can't show it to you guys on my, well, I actually can, but it's just going to confuse you guys if I go to the higher time frame. You see this? And if you're new to my charts, I don't delete the past, because that's what gave me my confidence as a trader in general. Like when you see your trades play out back to back to back to back to back, that's what, like, literally, you know what I'm saying? That's what gives you confirmation based off of like lot sizes, so forth and so on. Like that is your confidence. So my trades or my charts are literally like my childhood memory book. Like I like to see what I did in the past. And also, if you ever take any losses, you go over them to see like, okay, what happened, right? So where we are right now, we're literally sitting on a monthly trend line, which is why we have all this consolidation right here. I am expecting Euro USD to push up further, but I want to see this consolidation kind of finish right here in this area. And you guys see like this trend line is holding up. Like we haven't had an actual break of this trend line. So I still see an uptrend structure, but we need to get out of this consolidation zone right here. But this is nothing more than another higher low point. So we have here to here, point A to point B, price pull back, pushed up, pull back. Now we have another push coming, but we need to wait for this consolidation to finish. Also, we are literally testing a level of resistance right here, which was previous support over here and in the past, but you guys see this level of support right here being tested as resistance. So it tested it, pushed past our -27 just a little bit, tested it, and then did our first little drop right here. So that's just where we are on that. Now, the next we'll say we can put a minor structure fib inside of here, but I'm gonna start it right here. Oh, that already hit TP. So let's pull this here. Yeah, this actually already hit this -27 for this minor structure. So there isn't like an actual new fib point to draw until we have a new high of that structure point. After that, then the market's gonna push, I would say, let me go out. Look for it to come to this little supply and demand zone right here. But this is also like a black monthly foundation level, but it has to push away from this monthly trend line first. So we sitting on a monthly trend line right now. All right. But again, after this like breaks away, then we know like, okay, we have our confirmation for this. But we even sit in, even if we look at this, like, I don't want to draw a trend line on there, but this is forced, but this is gonna come, again, we're on this monthly trend line. What does the monthly mean?
Consolidation.
Exactly. So we're on this monthly trend line right now. So just wait for that to like push away from that. And then we can have like more of a clearer picture. I don't foresee this breaking this trend line right here though. Right here. I don't foresee this breaking this trend line right here, but we need to have a little bit more confirmation right here. But this is definitely like overall, even if we like, let's say we come, no, it's not going to happen because this is literally this right here, even this minor structure, like this already tested this resistance as support all through here. Y'all see that? So I don't foresee this breaking, this low breaking, but right here, we need to, again, break above this before you take another entry for this buy to this point right here. Okay? Y'all with me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, Jessica.
All right, perfect. That was literally the most beautiful trade of like last week. But so Tuesday, I was done with my little goal or whatever. But then y'all saw how beautiful GJ was. All right. Remember, I talked about GJ last week, and I told you guys wait for the actual break of this trend line right here before y'all hopped in. So I'm gonna break this down on, well, I'm gonna break down my entry on this. Also, I just posted my trades that I'm actually in on this. Did any of you guys see it on my Insta story?
Yes. Yes, Jessica.
All right.
Yes.
Remember to turn off your annotations, Jessica.
Thank you, Denise.
You're welcome.
You always be looking out. Let me see. Disable annotation. All right. So I want somebody to tell me what my or the area, just call it out, and then I'm gonna put a line and I'm gonna break both of them down. And also, the reason I'm doing this is because people always ask me, can y'all please mute y'all microphone if y'all not talking, please? And I don't want to everybody because then it's going to, y'all not gonna be able to ask questions. But okay, so somebody tell me what my entry was. Both of them.
With the retest of the trend line?
No, I'm talking about on the Insta story. I posted it earlier. Well, not too much earlier, but a little bit earlier. I'm trying to find it. Hold on. I could have sworn I posted it. Wait.
I think it's
About
157, 670.
All right, 157, 670. Okay, yeah, that sounds about right. And then I have another entry, that was a buy entry. Do y'all know where it was?
That's 156070.
It was at the bottom of this right here. So,
155870.
okay, 155. It was a little bit higher than that though. It was
right between.
because pricing goes down that far. Yeah, it was like right there. Okay, so let's go over these. All right. Now, the reason I want to go over them is because everybody always asks me, how do you get them entries? Like you want to always understand the flow of the market. So the first sell I took on GJ was back up here, like last week, but I pulled that one once it dropped, and then I entered again on this retest. But I'm going to show you why both of them happened, or I'm going to show you why I entered both of them the way I did, and then also where we are now and kind of like what's happening. Okay, so boom. First off, remember I told y'all confirmation for everything is the break and retest. So remember last week we were at this negative 61.8, but remember I told you guys that you always want to make sure the bullish momentum is first. That's very important. You never just hop in a trade, especially if on a Friday it was a lot of momentum in the market. You always want to make sure the momentum is finished before you hop on or before you hop in. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
Okay. So, all right. So right here, okay, we were at this negative 61.8. We already know my negative 61.8 is what?
Reversal.
Yep. So you're already looking for a reversal, but again, we wanted our momentum to finish. So how do we know when it's finished, or how do we know when we have confirmation for it to be done? Anybody? And again, but what's the confirmation?
Divergence. Break and retest.
Exactly. The break and the retest. All right. So here on this trend line, this was our break. This was our retest. This was the first entry right here. But then again, like I said, of course, once it pushes down, we already know like it has to do a pullback. So the reason I pulled it right here last week was because I literally had this level of support here. And y'all know how I am, like, not to say you have to chase the market, but at the same time, it's like, why give the market back the money that it just gave you? That just don't make sense to me. It never did to me. But again, everybody has their own style. So if you didn't have two entries at the top right here, literally, I pulled mine right here because I saw this level of support. If I see a level of support, especially when I see that there was a big push, anytime you have a big push, you're gonna have consolidation after. That's period, point blank. That's facts. That's like, you can't get around it. So we had so much like bullish momentum on GJ, ain't make no sense. I knew when we go up, like this is a better way to put it. If you push up like this, you're not just about to fall back like this. You're gonna consolidate a little bit before you actually break down. Then when you break down, you're gonna have a retest of the area that you just broke before you have the continuation down, okay? So right here, I knew, okay, this is a level of support, that's common sense. Now, how did I get the entry for this sell right here? I went on minor structure, and right here, I didn't take a counter trend trade on this structure right here, but I literally put in a one trend line here but I also used a minor structure fib on this area right here, and it was my negative 61.8 on my fib, which I already know is basically my reversal. All right, so that's how I got that second entry here. So it hit negative 61.8. This was the whole resistance level all through here, which was equal. All it did was literally test this previous level of support as a resistance right here. So it hit this negative 61.8, but this was also in line bound. Please mute your microphones, you guys. I'll mute them actually. Okay, there we go. All right, so we hit this negative 61.8 right here. All right, so I actually had a sell limit in right there. I don't advise using sell limits if you aren't if you don't understand the flow of money though, and you don't understand the flow of the market, because if you don't, this could easily just push through your sell limit or your buy limit and then take you out, right? Like, especially if you're not paying attention to the market. But again, it was common sense. Like this was our first, like this low was under this low, even though we still held up this level of support right here. But this was this first fib structure. I knew we had to come back down because now that we have this first fib structure, we have two take profits that need to get hit, right? So now, based off of our major structure fib, we have point A to point B. Price literally needs to pull back, okay, then continue down. So what is the continuation? It can't be an uptrend, it has to be a downtrend, right? 1 + 1 = 2. So literally this TP1 here, TP2 here, negative 61.8, literally where we are, okay, which means reversal, which is why literally I took a buy right there. But also I took a buy because, hold on. I took a buy because once we had all of this momentum right here, this has to come back and retest. So that's why when I put on there, like I still have this position active, but I took a buy position with the take profit here because this literally support is going to be tested as resistance, which is really almost there. Make sense?
Yeah. Hey, Jessica, did you do a take profit at the 27, the first TP? Or you waited for it to go to TP2?
I waited for it to go to TP2.
Wow. Okay.
I'm sorry, I feel like I got to sneeze. Okay, yeah, I waited for it to go to TP2, but that's because it's gonna keep falling. Like I'm still in, I'm talking about the position that I had up here. This one, the one that I have right here, I'm still in. So that screenshot that y'all just read, I'm still in that position. I didn't take it because if I know this is gonna keep falling, eventually, like I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? I don't wanna take the one that's at the top, like, no. I should have entered 2 right here. But I was still in Africa at the time. My Wi-Fi wasn't the best. It was just a lot going on. So I should have entered 2 right here. But I had actually, no, I'm lying. I wasn't in Africa at the time because I told my students this Thursday night. I had taught Thursday. I took this on the plane, actually. That's why I took one position because I was like, I don't know what this Wi-Fi is gonna be like. I had paid for Wi-Fi on the plane, but you know, sometimes Delta Wi-Fi be sketched sometimes. So this was point 1, point 2 of this trend line, literally draw the trend line into the future. So let's say there. Yeah, so this is pretty clear. You know what I'm saying? If we get like a level of resistance right here, or it consolidates a little bit, then this is literally gonna pull back a little bit, then come to this negative 27, which will be, again, a resistance level before it falls down some more. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
I'm so happy that you guys just like understand this. It's so great. Let me,
Jessica, I have a question.
yes, what's the question?
Once it hits resistance, right? How would we be able to anticipate where we could think it would go afterwards? Like,
You never
where-
never think in trading. That's the first bad thing. You
Okay.
always trade what you see, not what you think. So You just need, like I was saying about the confirmation, like how you know that, okay, this was going to literally fall right here was because it broke and retested, then we had divergence. It's multiple confluences that add up to something. So like when I had this level of resistance right here, this level of resistance was testing as support, as a trend line bounce, also as a negative 61.8. So I have 4 things telling me, okay, this is about to fall now.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
where we are right now, we know this is a level of resistance, but that's only one confirmation because really this fib that I drew right here, that's why I said, if this holds up as a level of resistance right here, and now we have to wait on the pullback for this to continue further, but you have to wait for more data to occur before that point. You see what I'm saying? So I don't
Gotcha.
have another entry right here. All I have is my take profit set because that's all I have confirmation for at that time. So once this does something like this, if this next candle doesn't push straight up to here, regardless, we need a minor structure pullback and then something like that, but we need a third trend line bounce. After you have that third trend line bounce, then of course you'll look to see like, is there wick exhaustion? Like what, you know what I'm saying? Like it's certain things. Like if you look inside of here, this is like a bearish variation. So, okay, that's another confluence that this is about to fall. If you look on 4 hour, sorry guys, I know it's a lot for your eyes, but if you look at 4 hour structure, it's a lot of bearish momentum here. We see we have this bullish candle, but the bearish candles are still basically, you see that? Like it's a lot of sellers momentum, but again, you have the minor structure that's inside of this that you can trade in between, which is the buy that I took right here.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Jessica, I have a question. How do you know that this is the end of the retracement? As sometimes it may hit 23, goes back, and then goes to retrace up to 38, then up to 61. How do you know that this is the end of the retracement on the fib?
Which retracement are you talking about? Because this one already touched, like this fib is over.
Generally for the fib, because sometimes I've been trying to trade. I actually attended your class in Tanzania. So sometimes as I'm trying to analyze, it might hit 23 retracement, then goes up to 38, while as I think it just hits 23, it might be the end.
No, so remember what I said, like each fib level means something, okay? So in regards to how do you know, you wait on your confirmation, like you wait on your breaks and retests. So like, let's say for instance this, right? Let's say we take this minor structure out of here and let's literally drop down to here, okay? If I have a level of, what's the best way I can explain this? If I have a trend line, right? What am I,
Yes.
what did you learn there that I said about entries? You always want to wait for a break and a what?
Retest.
Okay, so if I'm looking at this structure right here and this pulls back, now I am experienced. So I literally can see based off the fact that I know GJ needs to fall and I have divergence and all these different things adding up, I could literally see at this trend line bounce, the market's about to fall. But like what I was saying when I was going over EU, if you're not experienced, you wait on confirmation. So your confirmation that this not going higher is literally this break and retest right here.
Oh, okay.
So you always like, you don't just get in the market. Like for instance, let's just push this back here, right? Let's say this was here and let's say we did not have a trend line bounce. Just because it's at 61.8 don't mean we about to enter. We're not gonna enter until we have something saying that this bullish momentum is slowed down. How do you know when the bullish momentum is slowed down? You literally wait for exhaustion. There will start to be consolidation. It's not just about to keep pushing, right? So here, after this literally touches down here, right? Now, okay, of course, and again, how do I say this? Like when you're trading, 1 + 1 = 2. you never have a 2 without a 1 and a 1. So something always has to add together to tell you why you're doing something, not just hop in just because, right? So if I have 0.1, 0.2, and I draw this literally into the future, I think it was like right there. All right, so if I draw this structure into the future and I'm looking at this structure right here, if you're not an experienced trader, this is like a whole little wedge pattern. You know, as a trader that, again, you have to wait on a break and retest. Now, where we are in GJ, everybody should be able to clearly see that GJ needed to fall. Like looking at that, and the fact that we had negative 61.8, we have divergence, we had so much stuff saying GJ needs to fall. We know we not, like our bias is not bias. You see what I'm saying? So you're gonna wait for this to, let's say that you didn't see that GJ needed to fall. Before you enter a trade in general, you need to wait for this to happen, or you need to wait for this to happen. That's gonna confirm how far it's gonna pull back. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I see.
Yeah, so you enter after this sitting on the trend line, it breaks, then it retests. That's your confirmation. Then it sells. Then retest again. You just hold that entry. But this would be your trade.
Thank you very much, Jess. I understood very well.
No problem.
Hey, Jess, I have a question too.
Hold on, I just gotta say this. Everybody that helped out everybody in Tanzania or Tanzania, you know, they call it two different things. Some people say Tanzania, some people say Tanzania. But for everybody that helped them out, like, I just want to thank all of you guys, that's my students or my mentees that like wanted to help the people there. Like, they really appreciated it. A lot of them learned a lot. So I don't know if you were in that, the ones that did get sponsored, that sponsorship group chat, they're very appreciative. So yeah, I just wanted to say.
Miss Jess, I have a question.
Can you hear me, Cassie?
Hey.
Hey.
Okay. Hey. So you said that you took the buy at TP2, right? For GJ?
Mm-hmm.
So does it come with experience? Okay, so I wanted to take the buy too, right at TP2, but I was like, I don't know if I should because it doesn't look like I'm gonna get a break and retest. So is it just like off experience that you know that you can buy like off that 61.8 because there's like minor consolidation there?
Yeah, but also it was divergence there on like if you see here,
I can smell an entrance all the way to the.
that like divergence starting to form on that minor structure.
Yeah.
Can you guys mute yourselves if you don't have a question, please? Okay. Yeah, so what does divergence mean?
Reversal.
And what does negative 61.8 mean?
Reversal.
All right, so we got two
So-
things unless it's going up.
So you wouldn't technically need like a break and retest. That would just be like another confirmation.
Yeah, but again, that's like that's like an experience thing, kind of like this entry here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a comfortability thing. Just after you get like really comfortable with the market and you just kind of like know the flow and understand. If I see like we've just made a new like lower point, but we don't have any strong pullback in here, and we have so much support that hasn't been tested as resistance, not even once, we know this has to test as resistance before it can fall because it's so much support right here. You see that?
Yeah, I see it.
So we know that this not just about to keep doing this.
Yeah.
if I see the divergence and then I see like, okay, I'm at negative 61.8 right here, like I'm literally know that this has to happen before this happens.
Got it. Okay, cool. So now I know, like, I don't necessarily need a break and retest to take a buy like that when it's already like I have other confirmations for it.
Yeah, the break and retest is just always like extra confirmation. Like I would definitely, you know what I'm saying, as a mentor,
Take that as like the major or your main confirmation. Sorry, that's my baby.
you're fine. As a mentor, I would never want to say like, hey, don't use a break and a retest, like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's
yeah.
like, you should always have your confirmations. For the record, you should always have your confirmations, but you get to a certain point. Y'all remember like that time a long time ago when me and Angelica was talking and we was like you just develop like this trader's instinct over time. Like that's what it is. It's just like when you know, you just know. But that only comes from like a whole bunch of like time and stuff.
Hey, Jess, where would your
Hey,
stop
Jess.
loss be for this in particular trade?
On which area?
So we're no, at the top where that purple trend line is, where you identified the entry. No, the second one.
Right here?
I'm sorry. No, go down a little bit more. Yeah, that one. So where would your stop loss be if that was the entry?
Above the last high.
Above the last, okay.
Yeah. So like when you do your stop losses, just look at the last low or the last high based off of the structure that you're trading. So if you're on 1 hour structure and you're taking a 1 hour trade, like even though I don't necessarily advise any of my mentees to take entries off of 1 hour structure, but you would like take the entry based off a time frame that you're looking at. So if you see this is your 15-minute structure, like let's say this trade right here, let's say you got in for the pullback right here for this, because this was this is a minor structure inside of the overall structure also. So like even if I put a fib right here to here, you see how that hit negative 27 right there?
Yes.
Right? So once it hits that negative 27, like let's say I took this trade right here, right? My stop loss would be above this high because that's the structure that I'm looking at for that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Yeah, so okay, so yeah, so I had a buy for GJ, which really had already started playing out and is actually about to hit the TP there. So it's like everything right now is like you kind of have to, so many things just moved when the market opened. So all of my analysis that I had, like I literally just had this pushing up, and then I was going to tell you guys once it gets here, look to see how price reacts, because again, this is a trend line coming from the top right here. So this can break above a little bit and then come to this trend line before falling further down. But like the main ones I was looking at, just because it was the main two things that I traded this past week, was GJ and EU. I'm expecting after this GJ buy, the buy for GJ, then I'm expecting this to finish falling. And then for EU, again, I'm expecting this buy to continue once this wedge breaks out. All right, so those are the main two things that I was looking at. To be honest, I've been super busy and didn't even really get a chance to look at nothing else, because them was the main two things I was focused on. Again, just because I was actually in the trades, but I feel like everything else like that is an inverse of those pairs, like is doing the same thing. Like the JPY pairs were extremely weak, which is why EJ, GJ, everything with the Japanese yen as the quote pair kept rising anyways. But this is the same markup. Like really everything is exactly the same. This just broke, retested. It's the exact same markup as GJ. This broke, retested here. This literally hit here. This pulling back, expect to finish off of that sell once this, let's say we put a trend line at the top. We have really two trend lines that we can draw here. That one and this one's sitting on the trend line. So like if this breaks and retests, you know it's gonna push to the next one. if that makes sense. So
Just-
it's like everything right now is sitting on structure. So we need a new, like, even with that EU that I talked about, like we need a new, that fib is finished. So now we need a new point to draw a structure so that we can have our next actual move. Even with this GJ, like that buy, like literally is finishing right now. And the overall fib is finished. So now once this buy finishes, let's say once this hits this level of resistance, then we have that pullback, then carry it to that to this trend line, and then let it keep falling. But again, once you get to these levels, like you have to make sure you're paying attention to like what's actually happening in regards to that structure. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I feel like tonight was kind of more like a super learning call. It was more in depth than like our actual usual calls. Like our usual calls is we just like going over the market, boom, 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 boom. I feel like tonight was actually like teaching and like showing y'all actually like step by step. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope you guys like were able to resonate or at least follow it.
Yes, it was great.
It
Thank
was
you,
super
Jessica.
clear.
Be
Very
blessed so
clear.
much, Jess. Be blessed so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Hey, Jess, are
Thanks.
you taking any new students in
Yes,
the near future?
I graduated everybody this past week, and I didn't want to take nobody else until I got back from Africa because I didn't want to, like, I still was on schedule with my students, but I didn't want to, like, you know, some things were sketchy. The internet was sketchy at times, like everything, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to take no new students at all. But yes, I am everybody that I had originally promised that I was getting to once I had openings. I had already filled out some of the slots, which they already started, but I literally, I would say Thursday alone, I graduated like 2 groups and 4 privates. So I'm definitely taking students, but I'm gonna go through that first. Everybody that I owed a phone call to regardless. Hold on, actually, let me see this in my phone.
It's hard getting in though.
Yeah.
I done applied like 4 times.
No, you didn't. That means you don't hop on this Sunday night calls.
Yes, I do. I'm not every Sunday, but I get in there. I get in here.
Yeah,
So
me too.
Yeah, I'm on here too.
Yeah, I'm already too.
Check the name and check that Cleophas Lee. Check the name. Check
Wait,
that.
wait. But remember, because it was going by like, remember, I had not gotten to September yet. So we talking about August and we talking about July and August. Like I just finished August.
Gotcha.
So I got a Latoya, 2 Latoyas actually. A Laura, look, I already took her, so let me take her off. I got a Lavina, Martin, Tamika.
I'm on here.
Okay, I got it.
Mark.
Yeah,
I don't hear Cleophas.
I got a Tamika, a Matan,
Right here.
Yep, Matan is here.
Okay, Matan, Tamika. I got 2 Tamikas actually.
Oh, Tamika is here. Dave is good.
Tamika Bullock's here.
Yeah,
Yes, you can stop recording.
Oh yeah, let me stop recording. Right. Hold on.